Hello everybody, thanks for joining me today. Welcome to my kitchen. I'm Amy from Neurotic Mom Bakes. And today I'm gonna show you my cinnamon churro cake. This is inspired by my trip to Disneyland that I just got home from last night. And I actually came home and threw together a recipe and just experimented to see if it would work, and it did, and it's delicious. So I can't wait to show you this today. Don't forget that I put my entire recipe in both cups and grams in the description box below, but for this cake, we are going to start with 2 3/4 cups of white sugar. It's already in the bowl. And to that, I am going to add 2 sticks or 1 cup of unsalted butter at room temperature and a 1/2 cup of shortening, also at room temperature. I'm just gonna start mixing that on low. Now while that's mixing, I'm going to crack 5 eggs, 5 large eggs, into my little container here. Okay, while that's mixing on low, I'm going to add 1 egg at a time. Whoops. Perfect. Okay. Now my dry ingredients are going to be 3 1/4 cups of all-purpose flour, and to that I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of baking powder, and a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And then into here, I'm going to pour 1 cup of buttermilk. If you happen to not have buttermilk, regular milk will work. This just makes it a little more rich. Ooh, my vanilla. 2 teaspoons of vanilla. Okay, a recent discovery I have made is clear, 100% pure Mexican vanilla. I find it on Amazon and it is so good. It's a game changer. Just gonna add a tiny bit extra because it's so good. I now use it in all my cake recipes and buttercream recipes. It's that good. Okay, so I'm gonna get a spoon. And I'm going to just kind of stir this together a little bit. On low speed, I'm going to add a little bit of the dry ingredients, let it mix, a little bit of the wet ingredients, let it mix, alternating back and forth, starting and ending with the dry ingredients. So about half of that. finish off with the dry ingredients. Okay, you want it just barely mixed. Now, for the cinnamon churro cake, in here I have about a cup of brown sugar and about 1.5 tablespoons of cinnamon. And it doesn't have to be exact. If you want more cinnamon, put more in there. If you want more sugar, then just put a little bit more brown sugar. But this is what I have for now. And this is gonna be divided. You're not going to use all of it right now, but I'm gonna take this off. And kind of scrape everything off and scrape my bowl down, and then you're going to just gently fold in about 1/4 cup of this cinnamon mixture. Take my bowl off, give it a good scrape, and I'm going to put, let me get my 1/4 cup. And again, this doesn't have to be like totally exact. You just want kind of some of that cinnamon and brown sugar folded through there. And then I'm going to show you how I put the rest of it in. This is going to give it that very distinctive churro taste. It's so good. Okay, I'm going to have my cake pans here. Now, this will for sure fill 3 6-inch rounds or 2 8-inch rounds. I'm using 6-inch today. Now, something I discovered with my white cake recipe, that's the base that I'm adding the cinnamon and brown sugar to. Because of all that extra sugar in there, it's better to grease the pans with oil than with cooking spray. And I use kind of a generous amount. It will come out of the pan. It will come out of the pan so much easier. So I'll get a paper towel and spread this all around. Okay, and then I'm gonna get parchment rounds. You can order them pre-cut on Amazon, or you can cut them out by tracing the bottom of the pan onto some parchment paper. Put that in, and then I will give a generous spray just along the top of that, and this will enable the cake to pop right out. Okay, I might have enough for one more round, so I have this here just in case. When I did my recipe last night, I filled 2 8-inch pans, so we'll see how far this batter goes. So what you're gonna do now is I'm gonna just put a thin layer on the bottom. Need about, I don't know, 2 big spoonfuls. I just think this is the easiest way. I get a smaller spoon and I kind of spread it all the way to the sides along the bottom. Might need a little more just to make sure it gets all the way. Now I'm going to get I use a fork just because it keeps the brown sugar from clumping. I'm going to get some of the brown sugar cinnamon mixture, and I'm going to sprinkle it all over the top. Not too much, but you want to put a thin layer over all of that cake batter. This cake pairs really well with the cream cheese frosting because it is quite sweet with all that cinnamon sugar in there. The cream cheese frosting is less sweet, has the salty tang of the cream cheese. But if you really love that cinnamon flavor, it goes great with my cinnamon buttercream, or just my basic vanilla buttercream is also really good. Okay, now on top of this, I'm gonna put 2 more big spoonfuls of the cake batter. 2 to 2.5. Oh, and guess what? I think this is gonna fill 4 6-inch rounds. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna have enough to do another one. Yeah, for sure I am. Okay, and then you're gonna get that small spoon again and just kind of work the batter around to the edges. So these pans end up being about halfway full, so about 1 inch tall. And they're gonna go into a 350-degree oven for about, I will set my timer for about 30 minutes. And I will start checking at 30 minutes. And you'll know they're done when a toothpick comes out clean when inserted in the middle. And the sides will start pulling away from the pan. The cake will start pulling away from the pan. Just want to get a little more batter on top of that. Okay, so this does fill 4 6-inch rounds. Okay, and then on top of that, just gonna sprinkle a little bit more of the brown sugar and cinnamon. Okay, so now I have my cakes out of the oven. They're just lightly golden brown, and you're gonna wanna let them sit in the pan and cool for about 10 minutes. And then to get them out, I usually get my spatula and I'll just kind of run it around the edge. And usually comes right out. I like to cool them, well, it depends which cake. I like to cool my white cake base, this churro cake, face down, because I don't usually level these cakes. They don't have a ton of rise, so it kind of flattens them out a little bit. But either way, it doesn't matter. You see how nice that comes out, and you can see the little chunks of brown sugar in there. And then when you cut into it, you see all the swirls of the cinnamon sugar. It's so good. But if you wanted to level the cake, then there's stuff you can eat. So I might do that. I'll show you how I do that. Yeah. Because there is a little bit of rise. And you gotta sample, right? You just need to sample. I just have a serrated bread knife that I use. That's a good one to level. Let's level this one. And oh, and you want to let them, after you get them out of the pan, I forgot, let them cool completely before leveling them, but then make sure you level them before freezing them, because it's really hard to level once they're frozen, but we should give it a taste. But can you see, I need to show you inside of here. Just this little cinnamon swirls in there are just so good. And yep, it tastes just like churro in cake form. So good. Anyway, I'm so glad you could join me today in my kitchen. I love hearing feedback when you try my recipes, so make sure to try these out and comment below how they worked. And then if you want to see more recipes and tutorials like this, make sure to subscribe to my channel. You can also catch me on Instagram @Neurotic Mom.